But he got a flag down.
Oofside.
Everyone but the center. Offense.
Welcome to Oofsides. We're back. It's the first three-man pod of the season, and also the first double episode because my internet refused to work last week, and we were also all really busy. Who are you people?
Me.
Yeah.
God damn it. Every time I do one of these intros where I give you guys some sort of autonomy, I'm always let down.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, speaking of autonomy, though, we're going to try to speed round this shit for week 3 because we couldn't talk about it. So, we're going to knock it out right now. Starting with the Panthers beat the Texans on Thursday night. Davis Mills got his ass whooped. And Sam Darnold, for the first time in his career, advances to 3-0.
In Kansas City, they played a game of football, and the Chiefs looked like a little bit of ass. Once again, the Chargers and Justin Herbert take the win, 30-24.
Yeah, so the Cardinals went into Jacksonville, and they tried a 68-yard field goal, and it was actually really fucking close to making it, and then they returned it all the way, and Gus Johnson had an aneurysm, and then the Cardinals won anyway because the Jaguars choked.
I love how the complete dichotomy between my enthusiasm and your guys' enthusiasm.
Hey, I've been very sick for 3 days. I'm dying.
Speaking of sick, the Browns put up a sick W over the Bears as Justin Fields gets sacked 9 times in his debut. Browns 26, Bears 6.
Hey, I would like to talk about this game for 1 second.
Well, we'll talk about it after the speed round.
No. Shout out to Justin Fields. 1 passing yard on the day. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. No.
Anyway, in not Washington, D.C., with the not, can't say that word, never mind, cut that out. Bills put a beat down on the Ryan Fitzpatrick-less Washington's 43-21.
No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Yes, that wasn't funny. So
say.
the Titans beat the Colts in a pretty, I don't know, I felt like it was a boring game. But Derrick Henry did his thing again, and he's running a lot, and they won. And the Titans are still the most confusing team in the NFL.
Sure won't get more confusing next week. The Saints roll into Foxborough, where Jameis Winston leads his team to a 28-13 win over the Brady-less Patriots. And my deal of eating my phone if all 3 of my picks lost didn't start out great.
In Detroit, the Ravens get a bullshit no call on a completely obvious delay of game, setting them up for the longest field goal ever to beat the Lions on a lucky bounce. Ah!
Austin, that's you.
I was still laughing. So I'm on push to talk this week because I'm still sick and I'm coughing a lot, and so I don't kill you guys with my coughing. Yeah, I was coughing.
What's gonna make this really funny is the da 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 music in the background as Austin explains his cold.
So anyway, Big Ben threw 58 fucking times against the Bengals and still lost 24-10. And the Steelers also stay a very confusing team. Also, Najee Harris had as many catches as he did runs. That doesn't happen very often.
On the day that Eli Manning was abducted, inducted into the Giants Hall of Fame, the Giants put in a classic Eli Manning style loss by choking late to the Falcons as Atlanta gets off the floor with their first win of the season, 17-14.
In East Rutherford, New Jersey, that was a real tight matchup. Jets nearly pulled it off, though. Broncos come away 26-0.
The Raiders, they almost tied against the Dolphins, but they didn't. One. It's 31-28.
The Packers roll into the Bay Area where the could be dubbed as the Matthew gets to keep his phone game. The 49ers kick or go. Oh my God, I can't talk right now. The 49ers score a touchdown late, but leave 30 seconds for Aaron Rodgers to drive the Packers down the field, sets them up for the game-winning field goal. Packers 30, 49ers 28.
Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams stroll into Tampa Bay and show Tom Brady who's fucking daddy. The Rams come away 34-24. Matthew Stafford is the GOAT.
MVP. Anyway, the Vikings beat the Seahawks, and I'm the only one in here who picked them. Get fucked. Greg Joseph is a god.
The worst record of that week, so shut up.
Don't care. I got the only game that mattered right. Greg Joseph is Lord and Savior, best kicker in Vikings history. Don't care. Don't care. And also, Kirk Cousins has been playing fucking well, and I don't like it.
And finally, wrapping up week 3, the Cowboys roll over the Eagles 41-21. Win it, boys!
You guys think if Alabama ever got a football team, they would hire Kirk Cousins so they could just fuck him over?
Wait, what?
I'm not saying that again. That's kind of mean.
I don't really get what you're implying.
I said if the state of Alabama got an NFL team, would they hire Kirk Cousins so they could fuck him over? It was a bad incest joke.
Oh, I get it. That's hilarious.
What does incest have to do with Kirk Cousins? Oh,
his last name.
Okay.
Jesus Christ!
I was like, is Kirk Cousins' parents? Were they like siblings?
In your defense, it was not a funny joke.
Yeah. All right, so couple things that I want to mention about that week 3, because we did kind of speed run through it because Austin forgot that sometimes we loop back to these games.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You've literally been part of one of these.
Yeah, but when?
Last year.
No, when did I ask?
Oh.
So
Shit.
Going into week 3, shut the fuck up. We were all talking about, like, is Trevor Lawrence going to be bad? And then I watched that first drive that he did, or not the first drive, but that touchdown throw he threw against the Cardinals was, so I was like, okay, he's going to be fine.
No, he's terrible.
I want to talk about Bears-Browns. Justin Fields was 6 for 20 for 68 yards and got sacked 9 times. So the Bears had a net 1 passing yard. They had a passing yard. 1.
Yes, sir.
47 total yards, averaging 1.1 yards per play. They were 1 for 11 on third down.
Yes, sir.
With 7 punts. Also, there were no turnovers in this game.
Yes, sir!
So, yeah, that was...
The Detroit Lions have as many playoff wins as the Bears had net yards. And that.
Oh my God.
So, okay, my favorite stat of the day is that Justin Tucker's kick was 19 more yards than the Bears gained all day.
Yep.
And what's even more impressive is that the Bears scored twice in that game.
It was just ridiculous to watch. Another thing, Carson Wentz somehow managed to sprain both of his ankles in week 2, and it showed because he could not move at all against the Titans. And I believe he only got sacked twice, but it felt like a lot more. Bengals kicked the shit out of the Steelers, and Ben Roethlisberger looks terrible.
I once again would like to point out he threw 58 fucking times.
Yeah. Najee Harris has not done a single thing pretty much this season, so that's turning out well. Zach Wilson threw 2 picks again. So Jets, real close that time, only 26 points away.
Yeah.
And the Raiders are completely incapable of playing normal games of football. So the Dolphins the Dolphins became the first team to ever pass for a safety. That happened. Jake Brisket threw a screen in their own end zone that immediately got tackled. They scored the first 14. Then the Raiders scored 19 unanswered. Then the Dolphins scored 11 unanswered. Raiders tie it, send it to overtime. They both kick field goals, and then the Raiders win super deep into overtime. And then and then obviously Austin's Seahawks, or not Seahawks, Austin's Vikings got their first win of the season.
Yes, sir, and it was convincing. I watched most of the game, and we actually played well. Our defense was a little shaky in the first half, but our offense was there the whole time, and they stayed on. And our defense made improvements in the locker room, and it was a really good game. I was very optimistic about our season. We'll talk about how that went next week.
For what it's worth, Kirk Cousins has looked really good this season.
Yeah, and I don't like it. I don't like it. Because that means we're going to give him more money soon.
Yep. So, shall we hop into the last week, though? Week 4. Starting with a surprisingly good game. The Bengals and Jaguars. That was a hell of a game, dude. Probably the first time this season that we've actually seen Trevor Lawrence kind of shine. Yeah,
he actually looked like he felt slightly comfortable, a sense of comfort.
Yeah. Because, like what I was saying, their first drives that are all scripted, usually he looks really good. And then after that, like the whole offense falls apart. And that didn't really happen. They jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first half. Trevor Lawrence ran one in for a touchdown, and then I believe Robinson ran one in as well. And then they got stuffed on the goal line at the end of the half. They were on like the 1-inch line on 4th down, and they had Trevor Lawrence basically try to sneak it from shotgun instead of just, sending your 6'5" quarterback like through the pile where he could just reach the ball over the top. So, and then that became the momentum swing because Joe Burrow came out, and holy shit, Joe Burrow looked good in the second half of this game. Dude.
Yeah. Because, it was a 14-0 game at halftime, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Burrow to CJ Uzoma connection was just unstoppable in the second half. I don't think the Bengals got stopped a single time on offense in the second half. And then it comes down to the very end of the game, tied at 21. And then the Bengals kick a game-winning field goal as time expires. So that missed touchdown right before half, instead of getting 3 or even 7 points, the Jaguars end up with nothing. They lose by a score. Pretty questionable play calling by head coach Urban Meyer. And then some other questionable stuff happened after the game.
The game had its ups and downs. And speaking of ups and downs,
so the whole team flies back to Jacksonville, except Urban Meyer, because Urban Meyer, longtime Ohio State coach, one of the most famous people in Ohio sports. I don't think that's an exaggeration. A video surfaced of him in a bar with a girl grinding on him when he told his whole team that he was staying in Ohio to visit some family. And I think he said that he was there with his grandkids, is what he said.
Yeah, that still might be legit. We don't know what they're in.
Yeah. So, in his defense, he had his wedding ring on, and he had his hands covering his crotch the whole time. He wasn't actually touching the girl, but I wonder what he was doing down there. So he did a press conference the other day. I think it was yesterday, actually, where his apology was basically him saying that he was at a bar with like his kids or something, and he got drug out onto the dance floor, which is not what happened because he's on video. And then he threw Trevor Lawrence under the bus. Did you see that?
I did not see this part.
He fucking mentioned how he had to tell Trevor Lawrence to be careful when he went on his bachelor party. What does Trevor Lawrence have to do with you having a girl crushing on you in a bar, Urban? Why didn't you go back to Jacksonville with your fucking team? What kind of head coach are you?
I love just the idea that he's all in this. He's going to go to LA to chuck himself into rehab for sex addiction. Oh, there's the University of Southern California. When did that get here? Oh,
do the Jaguars play a team in LA this year? Let's see. They don't. Oh my God! They play the Rams in LA December 5th. Calling it right now. That's when he resigns. So, I didn't know anything about Urban Meyer before the season started because I don't watch college football. Just looking at it, he's got a one and done face. He doesn't have an NFL head coach face. It's just something about him.
Well, yeah, he looks like someone who peaked in high school. Like,
yeah.
He's done the same thing before. Like, that's where the joke comes from. Is he's like made up things and went to another city to like check into hospital, and that's like the city where he ends up signing with another school or another team.
Holy shit, dude! What a fucking joke!
I mean,
I really wish I could remember which one it was, because like he has
been too many. Well, Joe from Fake Racers knows a lot about Urban Meyer because he hates him, and he went on a whole rant at the start of the show. So if you want to hear like a full breakdown of all of Urban Meyer's shortcomings as a human being, go listen to this last week's Fake Racers podcast. So at least the intro. So
the big one was when he was at Florida and Ohio State. Yeah. Because then he took that gap year to work at ESPN and then went to Ohio State, so no one expected anything.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Wasn't his excuse like he wanted to spend more time with his family?
Yes.
Yeah. God, what a scumbag. So I'm doing the math. The two coaches that he reminds me of are the two that resigned mid-season, which are the infamous ones, which are Lou Holtz and Bobby Petrino. And they both resigned after a 3-10 start to their first season. So that would be 13 games. The Jaguars' 14th game is the game in LA. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, it's their 12th game. So he could break that record. Over under, what game does he get fired and or resign or quit?
So, in my professional opinion, by the way, I'm right, is it depends on how many games they win, if they can get there. Because right now, they're on the second longest losing streak in NFL history.
19 in a row, to be exact.
Yeah. Which is, throwback to the video of Minshew being like, and we're going to go out and win next week. And now he's not on the team and they still haven't won.
Yeah.
If they can win literally a game, which they don't have a hard schedule, they're in the AFC South. All 4 of those teams are kind of ass. So, like they play the Titans this week, and we'll get into that later, but the Titans are a mess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think it depends on if they could win games. But I'm also thinking if they don't win any games or only win one game by the time that LA game comes around, and then because they have at Tennessee right after that LA game, if they lose in Tennessee, he's done. Gone.
Yeah.
Whether it's him resigning or getting fired or both, it'll be like, you're fired. You can't fire me. I quit. Like, I feel like that's what'll happen.
Yeah.
Because that's how he is. Yeah. That is my prediction.
Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, put out a statement. I think it was either today or yesterday.
Oh my God, yeah, that was the saddest statement I've ever fucking read.
Where he basically said he has to earn everybody's respect back now after that. Which, for those of you who don't understand why this is such an issue, he's supposed to be the leader of this team, and he straight up abandoned them after a heartbreaking Thursday night loss to go fuck around at a bar. Like, he didn't... a lot of people are saying, like, this is the only time I've ever heard of a coach not riding the plane back with the players. He just didn't care.
Yeah, it's really funny because like a bunch of players were like, yeah, he told us that he was tired and wanted to see some family, so he canceled the team meeting on Monday. Like that came out like Monday afternoon, or no, yesterday morning that came out that it was like, yeah, he even canceled the team meeting for Monday. Like
God.
he straight up said fuck it for the entire weekend and just didn't interact with his team.
What's so weird about this is like, why did he even take this job? He doesn't seem like he wants it. He hasn't seemed like he wanted it since the first game, because week 1 he had to answer questions of whether or not he was going to go to USC. So like, what
Yes.
was even the point of him taking this job? Like,
Also, sorry, I posted those tweets. Those are the whole thing, the whole thread about it.
yeah. The statement from Shad Khan, by the way, was, I have addressed this matter with Urban. Specifics of our conversation will be held in confidence. What I will say is his conduct last weekend is inexcusable. I appreciate Urban's remorse, which I believe is sincere. Now he must regain our trust and respect. That will require a personal commitment from Urban to everyone he supports, represents, or plays for our team. I am confident he will deliver. So it's obvious he got lured to the NFL with the allure of, you know, you get to coach Trevor Lawrence, who's considered to be this once in a generation talent, you know. Whether or not Trevor Lawrence ends up turning into that is, you know, still to be decided. But what makes this situation so shitty is this is the best the Jaguars have looked in a long time, this Thursday night game. Like, they could have won. And they have, if this team is in like a unified spot, they could easily beat the Titans or the Dolphins. Both of those teams do not look very good right now. But it's just a mess. I don't understand what Urban Meyer's doing in the NFL. I don't get it.
Yeah, so I'd like to read this Twitter thread, or at least skim it. So this was a tweet that came out. This was yesterday morning, so Tuesday morning. That the Urban Meyer situation had reached a crisis point. Someone said that when he was first signed, he had very little credibility to begin with, and now it is like below zero, and that players were specifically upset when he canceled Monday morning's meeting because and the players assumed he was too scared to face them.
Ugh.
And then he didn't even apologize to the team as a whole. He just apologized to position groups individually and just said that the woman was just someone who was just there dancing.
Quick side note, that's literally not true, because PFT commenter from Pardon My Take did some digging and found that Urban Meyer has tagged her in photos before that he's posted over the years. So literally a lie.
And then one player said, right when he left the locker room, everyone started laughing hysterically, and he could hear it. Like, there's no way he didn't hear it. And then he was like, and then some player said, it's bad. I don't know how he's going to function as a coach. So, looking forward to the Jags game this week.
Oh my God.
Just overall, when your players are now have a greater leadership position than your coach, like, it's not a very good situation to be in. That's a bold take, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they could lead themselves out of it and like go win, and just not listening to him.
Honestly, yeah. Well, that's like so do you guys know anything about Bobby Petrino's stint in Atlanta when the Falcons hired him?
I know as much as what was covered in John Boyd's documentary.
Yeah.
The similarities are eerie. Like,
Yeah.
because Petrino was again a really crooked, kind of lying, deceiving college coach who came to the NFL and immediately like didn't treat any of the players like pros because he didn't understand how to be a pro coach. And like Urban Meyer's done the same thing, because NFL players are professionals. They do this for a living. When they were having problems with CJ Henderson, their player who had played 10 games and they just traded, Urban Meyer said that he had been talking to CJ and his parents about like his performance with the team. His parents. He called up the parents of a 20-something-year-old NFL professional to talk about his career. He's not A fucking college student, Urban.
CJ Anderson is like 30.
Yeah. Or
He's been around a while.
Henderson, not Anderson.
Oh,
I think he was one of their draft picks last year.
okay, yeah, he's 23.
Like he thinks he still has to teach these guys like how to be athletes. He rubbed a bunch of players the wrong way because he was telling them that they have to hustle to hydrate, and it's like, yeah, we know we have to drink water. We're athletes. We made it to the NFL. We know. So, and just like Urban Meyer, Bobby Petrino told Arthur Blank, "You have a head coach," after he'd pissed everybody off and then left to go take the University of Arkansas job. And yeah, so 13 games, 3-10 is the bar to beat. Urban Meyer might beat that.
I think he could make it to 1-12.
Yeah. I see. If it was just bad performance, I'd say that. But I think with how bad of a distraction he is, if they get to like 1-10, he's done.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, but like, see, I gotta say, that statement that the Jags owner put out had me rolling, because like, imagine having to fucking putting that statement out.
Yeah.
Like that statement is just like, this fucker. He's like, he wrote that with just like, he didn't even like, I don't even know how to put into words how ridiculous that statement is, because to me it just seems like, I don't know how to describe it.
So
it is absurd.
Just to go along with like the little prediction thing, and this is with a grain of salt because obviously they're going to say this, but there was a writer who does like college football work. He said 85% of Power 5 athletic department or athletic directors said that they would not hire Urban Meyer, and it was 60% of Group of 5. So obviously a lot of them are just going to say that just to say, like, pretend they have morals when they're exploiting college students, but that's another discussion. But so I don't know if USC is like serious and they actually go after him, because I think that's the only job he'd really take, like realistically, that's going to be open. If they're serious, then yeah, I can see like, one win and then he'll leave. But otherwise, I think he at least like lasts till the end of the season, unless the players just absolutely revolt.
Which I could see, because I feel like, I mean, like the Jags isn't even like a terrible roster.
No.
Like they have talent. Especially like with Trevor Lawrence, like the team should be almost built around him if he's considered such a gigantic like talent.
Man, it's almost like wasting your second first-round draft pick on a running back that you don't need isn't a good way to build a roster around your young quarterback. When they took ETN like 10th overall, when it was like, how about literally any other position? Because you have James Robinson.
Yeah, like, the thing is, so they took him like 20, mid-20s, and they could have, like, the offensive line selections in this draft were super deep. There were a ton of really good linemen, which is what they need, and they didn't. Like, and now you have Trevor Lawrence, running around a bunch in the pocket, which isn't exactly his best skill. But yeah.
Yep. So I'm predicting week 12 against the Rams. That's when he's done. Noah's saying full season. Austin, you're saying like what? 13 games?
Yeah, after they lose the Tennessee game, which is after they lose the Rams game.
All right. I'm going to write this down then. All right. Urban Meyer over under. Matthew versus Rams. Austin versus Titans. Noah full season.
Well, I mean, like the thing about Urban Meyer is it seems like his entire personality is based around the drama that he's currently facing, because it's like what he did at Ohio State. That's like all he did was cause controversy while leading an amazing season every year. But I feel like 90% of that is not because he's a good coach and just because Ohio State is one of the best football programs around. That's a discussion for another time.
Yeah.
But I feel like he was just like week 4, We almost won. Life's boring. We need to spice it up, and so he just went and caused his own shit. Like,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like he's doing.
Yeah. So, big surprise, college coaches. You can't just go get the best talent in the country. You have to actually fucking scout and draft and work at it. Who would have thought? And coach. So,
Yeah,
good old
because
Urban Meyer.
honestly though, in college football, all you need is an insane quarterback, insane running back, a good defensive player. You'll win the Natty, like, or you'll at least be like top 10 by the end of the season.
Yeah,
but
you just have to have like boosters who is going to pay for the entire team, under the table to show up.
Yeah,
like that almost seems like exactly what they were thinking when they drafted ETN. Is they drafted like two of the best offensive players in the drafts right out of the bat. We should win, right? Like, it seems like that was their entire line of thinking. We're like, we have Miles Jack back there; he's good.
Guess what, Urban? It's like the worst player on a on an NFL team is the best player on a college team. By the way,
I'm gonna disagree with that one, but that's another thing.
But I mean, you've got to be in like the top 5% of college players to even make it to the NFL.
Yeah.
The only thing is, it's just like really heavily position based.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts we have on this?
I mean, I want to add what Austin said. Basically, it's like when you play NCAA 14 and you just scout all the 5-star, and you're like, yeah, we're good now.
Yeah,
it's basically just what they did. It seems like.
Can anybody hear block? So, yeah, Jaguars are a mess. Urban Meyer's a joke. Football. Go Bengals. Bengals are 3-1 and leading the division. Who would have seen that coming?
Probably Jack.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So, the Jaguars did not get their first win of the season, but you know who did? The New York Football Jets beat the Titans 27-24 in overtime. Conveniently, the 1 week we don't do pick'ems, so Noah doesn't even get to pick the Jets, right?
So mad. Pissing with rage.
Sweating with anger.
Picked him in spirit.
Yeah. The Titans are a goddamn mess. I don't know what to think of them. Their O-line is so bad. Like, not often do you have your running back run for 157 yards and you still lose. And like Tannehill did not even do that bad. He was 30 of 49 for just under 300 yards and a touchdown. But they gave up 7 sacks. Zach Wilson. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say what's really, really interesting to me is how the time of possession and the plays. The Titans had the ball for about 40 minutes compared to the Jets 30, but the Titans ran 93 plays compared to the Jets 60 and still lost. And outgained them by almost 85 yards and still lost.
Mm-hmm. And weirdly, too, is the Jets were the only ones with a turnover. So, Zach Wilson did finally show something. That touchdown he threw in the fourth quarter where he was scrambling out to his right and he was directing traffic and just pointing the guy like, go! And then just threw a bomb to the end zone. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I said this like before the draft. I'm sure you guys might remember, but I firmly believe Zach Wilson was the best quarterback in the draft. Maybe Justin Fields is better, but like, actually, no, Justin Fields is probably better. But still, Zach Wilson's a solid number 2 best quarterback in that draft, and I feel like he's going to be another Sam Darnold situation where he's going to suck in New York, except for showtimes of brilliance, and then go somewhere else eventually and shine.
Yeah. Saleh put together a better game than he has the last 2 weeks. He was kind of rubbing people the wrong way, so hopefully he doesn't end up being Adam Gase Part 2. It's just down to the team's management surrounding him with some talent and protecting him, with like a good O-line or whatever.
Yeah.
Because Darnold should have been a lesson because we're all seeing how good he's looked in Carolina. Like, you need to surround your quarterback with talent and like a competent coach. You can't just throw him out there and be like, you got this. So Jets get on the board though. Good for them.
There was also there was another throw. I know it got posted in our Discord, but I can't be bothered to go look for it to get all the full context. But there was like a 3rd and 15 in their own territory, and Wilson was just scrambling all over. And then out of nowhere, he hadn't been looking towards the left sideline like the entire time he was running. And then he looked and just threw a fucking bullet to the sideline. And the receiver toe tapped, and I watched that on Twitter, and I was like, that was Zach Wilson at BYU. He was doing that like every play. And so when I saw that, I was like, hey, he's there. So yeah, this game gave me hope for Zach Wilson because I really liked him at BYU. I thought he was really impressive.
Yeah. Oh, we should also mention Fat Randy was at it again, and he missed an overtime field goal that would have tied the game with like 13 seconds left. So good job, Randy. Titans fall to 2-2, but are still in the lead of the division. I think the AFC South is in the NFC East. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it is gonna be this year, especially if like I don't understand how Derrick Henry can run for 157 yards and lose.
yeah, which is incredible because their O-line cannot block anything, and he still ripped off nearly 5 yards of rush. So,
Which, by the way,
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry is currently on pace to break Eric Dickerson's record. He has 510 yards in 4 games.
oh my god,
So, yeah.
he's literally beef tank. It's ridiculous. Another rookie quarterback who got his first career win. The Bears beat the Lions 24-14. Once again, it's just been like the Lions look solid, but they can't finish things out. They had 3 straight trips to the red zone in the first half, and they ended up with 0 points. Which included that special play where the defensive lineman for the Bears caught the snap because it bounced off of Jared Goff's shoulder. Did you guys watch the end zone view of that, like so you can see Goff's reaction to it?
Yes.
Yeah. Now he doesn't even like scramble. It bounces, and then he sees it happens. And you just see like his expression drop. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Justin Fields only threw 17 times, 11-17 with an interception. David Montgomery, 23 carries for 106 yards. He was basically the offense, but he suffered, I believe, a lower ankle sprain. I believe is what the injury was, and he's estimated to be out for about 4 weeks, which is not good because
it was his knee.
Oh, was it his knee? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Matt Nagy got a lot of shit after the Cleveland game because he put together a terrible game plan that didn't take advantage of Justin Fields' strengths at all. And it resulted in him getting sacked 9 times. And he put together a much better game because he only got sacked once. And the Bears actually moved up and down the field and scored points. So
I feel like I will say take this with a grain of salt because it was the Lions. So was it a better game plan? Or were you against the Lions and not the Browns?
Yeah. The Browns defense has been ridiculous the last 2 weeks, and we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, this is your classic, like, get right game. You know, you got your ass whipped, and it's like, just go beat the hell out of this bad team. Feel a little better about yourself. Yeah.
And unfortunately for the Lions, they have not eaten anyone's kneecaps yet.
Yeah, they got Dan Campbell. He needs to switch to like 3 extra large coffees instead of 2.
I think with our injuries, I'm kind of starting to worry we're not going to win a game at this point.
You got a chance this week.
I think with the Lions, like, I like what Dan Campbell's doing. I think he's going for it on 4th down a little too much, which is weird for me to say because I loved that he went for it on 4th down twice in the first quarter of week 1. But I think the Lions went into this year knowing they weren't going to be very good. I think they're going to win a game eventually. Like, Goff is a good enough passer, and like the team looks solid. So they just need to finish out some of their drives.
That's the thing is like they could have beat the Ravens. And they're like, other than the Green Bay game, they really could be 3-1. like really, they would limit their mistakes a little bit. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So that is that. Any other closing thoughts on that?
Go Lions.
All
Hey,
right.
positive to take out of this week is you didn't give up the longest field goal in NFL history 2 weeks in a row.
Nah, we didn't last week either, but
Anyway, another team that got their first win in the season. Classic cornered animal game. The Colts beat the Dolphins 27-17.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphins are bad.
Granted, they're being led by Brisket, so
and Brisket's not bad. I
Yeah,
just don't.
Brisket-
I don't know if they've really formed their game around him yet.
The Dolphins. Oh, good.
Their problem is he doesn't fit into this offensive system that they run. Like he is not Tua. He can't fly around the field. He can't throw deep balls to Devontae Parker. Like I saw a stat because I hate to bring this up, but I have Devontae Parker on my fantasy team, and I was reading about. And he wasn't getting very many points, and so I read about it, and then I read about how Jacoby Brissett is not Tua, and he doesn't throw deep balls. He's checkdowns. Like all of his targets were going to like Gesicki and the running backs out of the backfield. They had like a combined like 25 targets, and Devontae Parker had like 3. Like they have to work out, especially because I don't know what Tua's injury is. Like I can't remember how long he's out.
Rib injury, and I think it's like 3 to 4 weeks.
Gotcha. Because and it doesn't help that Will Fuller is also out.
Yeah.
So
Will Fuller's literally the glass bones paper skin guy from SpongeBob. Like I don't think he's ever finished a full season.
But yeah, I think it's unfortunate growing pains to have an unexpected quarterback, brand new to the team as well. Because Brisket was on the Colts last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was Phillip Rivers' backup.
Yeah, he was the starter the year before that too.
Yeah,
and
when
Brissett,
Andrew Luck just
yeah, Brissett is like he reminds me of Tyrod Taylor a lot. They're both very safe with the ball. They're not gonna really chuck it downfield. They're very efficient but not flashy. You know, he's like a budget Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, because he can't run.
Yeah. That and the Dolphins O-line is awful.
They don't have a running game.
This team reminds me a lot of the 2019 Browns, because the Browns were a team that rolled into the season that ended the year before that hot. And everybody's like, dude, they could be a playoff team. They got a good young quarterback. Like, look at all this talent. And then they forgot about their offensive line. And just like the Browns, they're coming out of the gates pretty flat.
It's not great. It's not a great sign when your starting running back finishes a game with 2 carries for 3 yards.
Yeah. On the Colts side of it, Carson Wentz looked all right. He's still kind of hobbling around with his 2 sprained ankles. Jonathan Taylor basically carried the offense for most of the game. This game really was not that close. It was like 17-3, very deep into it. Dolphins scored a lot in garbage time, but the Dolphins are in trouble because they won week 1 and then they've had 3 straight ass kickings. 2 straight ass kickings and then an overtime loss to the Raiders. They might be like the hardest team in the league to judge right now.
Yeah, I think they'll get better as time goes on. However, unfortunately, I feel like it'll be one of those situations where Brissett finally gets like comfortable, and then Tua's ready to come back, and they have to almost restart again.
Yeah. So that's enough about that game. Let's move on to the Browns Vikings, where the Browns win a defensive slugfest 14-7, and that is they got to 14 in a very weird way though.
Yep.
So we'll talk about the Vikings real quick. They scored a touchdown on their first offensive possession, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right before half, the Browns scored a touchdown. I don't remember. I'm assuming the Vikings got a penalty because they went for 2. Got it.
Yeah. No, there was no penalty. They just went for it because why not?
All right. But the Browns went for it, took an 8-7 lead.
Yeah, I that pissed me. I was watching and I was pissed. I was like, what are they doing? They took an 8-7 lead to take an 8-7 lead. Anyway,
I imagine they did it because both defenses were really good and Baker was struggling, and they're like, we can get the lead now, let's just do it. So then they made a stop on the Vikings, got the ball back, kicked a field goal to go in halftime 11-7.
we gotta talk about this.
Okay.
We gotta talk about this.
All right.
So, okay, it was 2nd and 10, or excuse me, there was a holding penalty. It was 2nd and 20. No, 3rd and 20. It was 3rd and 20, and the Vikings were in prevent defense on 3rd and 20 from Cleveland's own 26-yard line, and they gave up a 33-yard run because they were in prevent defense. That allowed the Browns to that got them up to like the Minnesota 40-yard line or something, and then they just threw a little check down to get 10 more yards, and then they just kicked the field goal. I was pissed because the thing is, Kareem Hunt wasn't challenged until he was at the first down marker because everyone else was at like the 20-yard line. Baker Mayfield is great. He can't throw it that far. What are they doing? Oh my God, I was pissed. Especially because the Browns were out of timeouts. They couldn't stop the clock. So like, what were they going to do? Oh my God, I was so mad watching that. And in all honesty, it kind of ended up losing us the game because at the end, the Vikings actually got really close to scoring. And if it was only a 3-point game, they could have just kicked the field goal and it would have been a chip shot. Yeah. Because they ended the game on like the 25. But nope. Oh, that game was infuriating to watch. I didn't watch most of it because it was a really boring defensive game. But man. Yeah.
I should probably talk about Baker did not look good this game either. He was 15 out of 33 for 155 yards. He missed like a couple he missed a wide open touchdown throw.
He did.
One play.
It looked a lot like 2018 Baker.
I think he's dealing because he injured his non-throwing shoulder against the Texans. Mm-hmm. I think he's still dealing with that a little bit because like Baker's thing is he is like ridiculously accurate and efficient. He may not be the sling it down the field guy, but it's like the death by 1,000 paper cuts style of offense where they're just going to keep chipping away and taking what the defense gives them. And Baker did not look like that at all. I think it's a combination of that, and they're missing Jarvis Landry right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I will say the Vikings defense has seemed pretty good this year. They have seemed pretty good this year. So it's tough defense for him to go up against. Mm-hmm. One other thing I will say is Dalvin Cook came back from his ankle injury, and he didn't do shit. So he ran 9 for 34 yards. So
yeah, and unfortunately, when you have basically the centerpiece of your offense coming off an injury, going against probably the best defensive line in football right now, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. Also, another recipe for disaster is he got hurt again. So Dalvin Cook is fantastic, but that man cannot stay healthy. He's like late career Adrian Peterson. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, except without beating his kids.
That's why I said late career, because it was after that.
Okay. Well, Austin, you know what they say about 34 yards, right?
Sure, they say some words about it.
What do they say?
Beats walking.
As soon as he said that, I was like, if Noah doesn't say it, I'm going to say it. So that was Browns Vikings. Browns are 3-1, Vikings 1-3. The Vikings are so close to being undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. That is 3 one-score losses. We're looking to take the Chargers title this year.
They are the new Chargers.
That's tough. Oh, that's tough, man.
Well, Kirk Cousins has replaced Phillip Rivers as like the goofiest quarterback in the league. Because Kyle Shanahan said a couple weeks ago that Kirk Cousins' swag is that he has no swag.
I've never seen someone look so lost yet confident on a football field.
He has so much dad energy. Like, he belongs there, but he's just a goddamn dork. So, yeah. That's that. Falcons did it again. They choked again to the Washington football
Yep,
team.
Yeah, they
Falcons.
did.
Yep. Taylor Heineke might be pretty fucking good. Like we already kind of knew. He
No
was
way.
23 of 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, including that ridiculous throw to Terry McLaurin, where he was like falling down and just kind of chucked it up. And it went into the end zone, and both Falcons defenders that were there just didn't even try. And Terry McLaurin was like, "Oh, don't mind if I do." Touchdown. And then scrambling for his life, and he dumps it off to J.D. McKissick, who dives for the end zone and gets across the pylon with like 20 seconds left to take a 34-30 lead. The Falcons had an 88% win probability in this game, but no lead is safe with the Falcons holding it.
Yep.
Pain. Yeah. Matt Ryan threw 4 touchdowns.
Sure did.
The other thing too is I think the Falcons are the first team to figure out how to use Cordero Patterson. Because
Yeah, I'm pissed about it.
this is like, he is one of the best receivers in the league right now, and it makes no sense.
Yeah, because he's good. Like, so obviously, Vikings fan, I know a lot about Cordero Patterson. He was one of my favorite players back when we had him. Like, he was one of my favorite players in the league. And then we had him in like his 3rd or 4th career year, and we just stopped using him. And then we just let him go.
He's always been like a return specialist, yeah, and like he's been used as like an impromptu running back a lot, and he's pretty good at that. But like a lot like Devin Hester, nobody's ever really been able to figure out how to make him a really consistent receiver until now.
Yeah, he's like, I've always known he's really, really good. And we've just never used him in the positions that he can be made really good. He caught 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, he has already equaled his career high in touchdowns in one season.
He also has more 3 touchdown games than Julio Jones has in his entire Falcons career.
Man.
Which is, it's 1, but it's, yeah. It's still more than Julio. So.
Oh, man.
Yep. Texans, Bills. The Bills are the most ridiculous defense in the league right now. This is their 2nd shutout in 3 games. They terrorized Davis Mills, who threw 4 interceptions. And then Josh Allen threw 2 touchdowns. Trubisky came in and had a run for 8 yards.
Yeah.
I want to read some of the splits, because the Browns kicked the Bears' asses last week, but it wasn't this lopsided. So the Bills outgained the Texans 450 yards to 109, 6.3 yards per play compared to the Texans 2.6. The Texans had 6 first downs. They were 1 for 9 on 3rd down, 1 for 2 on 4th down. They ran 42 plays compared to the Bills' 72, 3 sacks, 5 punts, 10 penalties for 100 yards. Also, they fumbled and then had 4 picks. So just about as thorough of an ass kicking as there is.
I gotta say, if Davis Mills continues to be this bad, we're gonna get some Jeff Driscoll action, and I'm all here for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he is not ready to be a starter. And like, obviously he got kind of thrust in because of Tyrod Taylor's injury. But yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? There is one good stat the Texans had. Dude, Cameron Johnston, 5 punts, 251 yards, averaging 50.2 yards per punt.
Okay, that's a punting game.
I want to see some punting. He's a weapon. So yeah, that's about it.
Once again, I would like to point out the Texans outgained by 62 yards. They outgained the Bears last week, but reminder, the Bears scored twice. 2 separate drives they scored with 47 total yards. I can't get over that.
That's because they gained yards and then they just lose them all in the next drive.
I know, but it just fucking gets me. They had 47 yards of total offense. They scored twice.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. That boggles my mind. It's the most Bears thing I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw out a little hot take here. The Bills are the best team in the NFL right now.
I agree.
I do not agree.
L. Well, we're gonna find out with the Sunday night game this week, which I can't wait when we get to pick'ems to talk about that one. But moving on to the next game, I don't understand the Saints. Wait, what?
I was gonna say the Browns are the best team, and that's
true.
purely based on fact and not opinion. Very objective.
I don't understand the Saints at all. They beat the shit out of the Packers week 1. Then they get dominated by the Panthers week 2. They convincingly beat the Patriots week 3. And then they lose to the Giants in overtime in week 4.
You know what they say, the Saints are where you want to go if you want to see football.
Who says that?
They
do.
And the worst part is we can't even blame this on like Jameis Winston being ridiculous because he didn't even have a turnover. Oh wait, no. Oh no, Taysom Hill threw the pick. That's what it was. Yeah, it was a little too much Taysom Hill this week, unfortunately.
And what's interesting is Alvin Kamara finally showed up to a game, and he ran for 120 yards.
Yeah.
And then they lost. I'd like to point out there were 48 seconds left in the game when the Saints had a 94% chance to win.
Jesus. Kadarius Toney actually had a game for once because after 2 games he was sitting on -2 receiving yards.
Yeah.
6 receptions for 78 yards. Daniel Jones 2 weeks in a row has actually played really well. 402 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception.
I have always held that Daniel Jones is not bad. The Giants are just bad. And
He's the new Jameis Winston. Like he really is. Because both of them throw gaudy numbers, but they also have they just turn the ball over all the time in goofy ass ways. And they're just like hilarious to watch because they're super clumsy, but like ridiculously talented.
I would also like to point out, fuck the NFL overtime rules because the game was once again decided by a coin toss since the Giants went down and scored a touchdown. The Saints literally didn't get the ball in overtime. And I hate the people that say, well, their defense should have just stopped them. Well, in a really high-scoring game, like this is not a really high-scoring game, but in a really high-scoring game, and you just don't even get the ball, like, that's stupid.
I would simply just get the ball. I don't understand the strategy behind that, if I'm being honest. Matthew, can you splice in the clip of when the Giants won the overtime coin toss? Because that was great, by the way. It's hilarious. Have you not seen that clip?
What? Wait, what? Did something happen? Or
when they did the coin toss, the Giants player who was out there, he was like super enthusiastic. And they're like, heads or tails? And he's like, give me heads! And then they win the toss, and he's like, we want that fucker!
Did they get caught on the mic?
It did partially, yeah.
Oh, let's go. That's
great.
Hilarious.
So the Giants finally win. Boo, because I hate the Giants, but good on them. The Chiefs are the most overrated team in football right now. I'm gonna throw that hot take out there too while I'm at it. So, yes, I know Pat Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns in this game. That's absurd. I know the Eagles never forced a punt. But the Chiefs' defense against a shitty Eagles team never forced a punt. There were 0 punts in this game.
I hate that.
Yeah, both teams basically just marched up and down the field. The Eagles had 3 touchdowns taken off the board because of penalties. All 3 times they settled for field goals. That's a loss of 12 points. They lost by 12 points. I'm sorry, but the Chiefs, you're not going to win Super Bowls by just being bailed out by high-end talent. Because we saw that last year. Because what did the Chiefs spend all of the second half of last year doing? It was getting into shootouts with shitty teams and barely beating them. You know, the only reason they beat the Falcons was because of a missed field goal.
And a lot of penalties, and the Falcons being the Falcons.
Tyreek Hill had 250 receiving yards in the first half against the Buccaneers, and they won that game by 1 score. Think about that. One player had 250 yards in 1 half, and they won by a score. Like we saw it last week, they had 4 turnovers against the Chargers. Like, yes, Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill may be the best trio of skill position players in the league. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire actually had a good game for once. I will say that. It's like probably the first good game he's had, definitely of this season, maybe of the last year. But like name the other receivers on this team. Name their star O-linemen. Name their star defensive players. They don't have any.
McCole Hardman's pretty good.
All right, I'll give you that one. But like, they are literally just a mediocre team bailed out by a good coach and a good quarterback.
Yeah, it's getting to be that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like we said I guess we didn't say it after last week because I wasn't sure last week.
Yeah.
But it was the first time that Andy Reid was under 500 in his entire time at the Chiefs. And it was the first time Mahomes was under 500 in his entire NFL career.
It's also the first time that Mahomes had ever thrown an interception in September, and also the first time his first ever losses in September in his career.
Yeah, which is pretty nuts.
Yeah, like they're obviously going to be in the playoffs, maybe win the division. You know, the Chargers look good. The Raiders, if they stop fucking up, look good. The Broncos started out 3-0.
I never thought I would see the Chiefs at the bottom of this division, but here we are.
Yeah. But yeah, I watched this game basically in entirety because it was the only game that was on TV for some reason. I just didn't get a Fox game on Sunday. I only got one CBS game. It was so weird. And even though it was a shootout, it was so goddamn boring because it was like you knew what was going to happen every single drive. It was like, yeah, they're going to go down the field because neither team can make a stop. So... And
there were also a lot of turnovers that ended up getting called back.
Yeah,
like there were a lot of fumbles in this game, and then like none of them counted.
Mm-hmm. There was one Chiefs interception. That was basically it. The time of possession was nearly split down the middle, and if the Eagles had stayed out of their own way, this would have been a 42-42 overtime game, which would have been kind of cool. But yeah.
And yeah, it's also worth noting that Mahomes interception was really bad. That was a really bad throw.
It's almost like Mahomes is special because he can do shit that like nobody else can. Like when you need somebody to play hero ball, he's probably the best in the league at it. But it seems like the Chiefs' entire game. Shut up! No, we know you like Matt Stafford,
and I don't like Pat Mahomes.
To me, I like to think that Pat Mahomes is Jim Carrey, but with his arm. And like the way that Jim Carrey can control his face, that's what Pat Mahomes does with his arm.
Now I just gotta go find every single highlight of Matthew Stafford doing exactly what Pat Mahomes has done for the past 10 years.
Yes, we know Matt Stafford's really good. Anyway, as I was saying, what the fuck was I going to say? I lost it now. Oh, but like, it seems like the Chiefs' entire game plan is just, let's have Pat Mahomes play hero ball. And it's like, dude, that only holds up for so long. Yeah.
And it has clearly stopped holding up.
Yeah. We're saying this after they won 42-30, which is funny, but I'm like...
It's funny because they should have blown the Eagles out of the water because they are straight up dog water. I will admit, Jalen Hurts had a really good game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he probably had his best career game so far against the Chiefs.
Yeah. So, but when you can't stop the Eagles a single time, that's concerning.
That's a problem because they don't... like... Name an offensive player on the Eagles that isn't Jalen Hurts or Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert. Oh my god. Anyway, that was Chiefs Eagles. one of the other undefeated teams finally fell. The Panthers fell to the Cowboys 36-28. Dak Prescott might be really good. He had 4 touchdowns on 14 completions. Ezekiel Elliott ran for 143 yards. Tony Pollard ran for 67. And it's funny because coming into this game, the Panthers' run defense had been on like a historically great pace. And then they gave up 245 rushing yards.
I'm not sold on the Panthers at all.
I never thought they were going to be like, oh, they're going deep into the playoffs. I thought they were a mid-tier team or whatever.
I think this is their first game, and they kind of showed where they really are. Like, they put up a little bit of a fight, but they're nowhere near a competitor this season, I don't think.
Yeah, it didn't help that McCaffrey's out right now for a couple of weeks. He was probably their best player. Darnold threw 2 interceptions, also threw 2 touchdowns. Ran for 2 more. So, like, Darnold still had a good game, but, turnovers cost them. What is his name? I'm drawing a blank on it. Trevon Diggs for the Cowboys has 5 interceptions through the first 4 games. Like, holy shit. Him combined with, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? The linebacker the Cowboys drafted, Micah Parsons. Those 2 guys might be leading like they might finally be like the first good defensive players the Cowboys have had in a long time.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Union Pacific. You need shit moved? Union Pacific. All right. Yeah. Oh, there's one more. Yeah, the Cowboys pretty much kicked ass. They didn't allow a single sack. And also no turnovers. That's that'll win you football games. So I think the Panthers can be a wild card team.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was sitting here waiting to say. Is I think they'll make the wild card, but they'll probably be a first round exit. They might give the team whoever they play, they might give them a headache, but I don't know. I mean, obviously it's only the 4th game of the season. There's a lot of season left. They have a lot to build on. They could be really good, especially if McCaffrey comes back and stays fucking healthy for once. Then there's a lot of potential. Which is cool. Yeah. It's especially cool to me to see Darnold like actually fucking do good because I've known he's this good.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely happy to see Darnold playing really well. Moving on to another NFC showdown. The Seahawks beat the 49ers 28-21. This was a weird game because it's a 1-score game, but it was way more lopsided than that. Right on schedule, Garoppolo got hurt. He had 165 yards, touchdown, and interception, and then he hurt. I believe at the time he spoke about it, he didn't know what it was. He said it was something in his calf, but Trey Lance took over, and he threw 2 touchdowns, but was 9 of 18. Also ran 7 times for 41 yards. The 49ers kind of flirted with a comeback towards the end of that game, and they like outgained the Seahawks in every single category, but they weren't completing any of those drives or anything. And the Seahawks end up getting their second win, drawn even at 500. Don't really have anything to say about this game because I didn't get to see it, and I don't really care about either team.
What's just really interesting to me is how many every drive was like under 3 minutes. Yeah. Each team had the ball 13 times.
Jeez.
So, I feel like that says a lot about the game.
Yeah. There's also a lot of punts in this game, too.
So. Yeah, it was a lot of quick 3-and-outs, and yeah.
Moving to a much more relevant game, the Cardinals knocked the Rams from the undefeated ranks 37-20, as the Cardinals remain the lone undefeated team in the NFL.
So, I got a stat. It's I've been a Cardinals fan since Kurt Warner played there. And the Cardinals, love the Cardinals, baby. Let's go Cardinals. But this stat, so this is, hang on, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 8th season in the Cardinals' entire history, which goes all the way back to when they were in Chicago in the 1920s. This is the 8th season in their franchise history that they have started a season 4-0. Of those 8 seasons, they've only made the playoffs once. And let's just talk about their records. So in 1922, 8-3. 1923, 8-4. 1926, 5-6-1. 1956, 7-5. 1966, 8-5-1. 1974 was the year they made the playoffs. They won their wild card game but lost in the divisional. They went 10-4. And then the last time they went 4-0 to start a season was 2012 when they went 5-11. So 4-0 don't mean shit to the Cardinals.
Man, I gotta look this up now.
Yeah, that popped up because I'm signed up to the Pro Football Reference emails that are called StatHead thing, and they just send me shit after every week of like interesting little shit, and I saw that and I had to laugh that the last time the Cardinals started out 4-0 was when they finished 5-11. Like that's unprecedented, and I don't understand how they did it. But yeah. I just thought that was funny.
Hoyer was on the 2012 Cardinals.
Man,
I literally never would have guessed that. Oh my god! Yeah, they started out 4-0, and then lost 9 straight after that. Guess what team they broke that streak against?
The Lions.
See, when you said 4-0, I was like, oh, it's got to be one of the Carson Palmer teams. Nope. Oh my god.
And the thing is, they beat the Seahawks and the Patriots in their first 2 games.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
Hell.
The Cardinals are just built different.
Yeah.
Oh wait, shout out one time, LaRod Stevens, Howling, and Beanie Wells. Love those guys.
Anyway.
And Kevin Cobb. Oh my god. Right. John Skelton. Sorry. It's all coming back.
Anyway, a game that happened in 2021, though. Kyler Murray, 24-32, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. Chase Edmonds, fucking 12 carries for 120 yards.
My man.
I didn't even know Colt McCoy was on the Cardinals. Hell yeah. He had 2 carries for -2 yards. Stafford was all right. 2 touchdowns, interception. He almost had a 100-yard rusher. Henderson got up to 89 yards. The big thing though was that they just had no answer to the Cardinals on offense. Yeah.
I would also like to point out, shout out to Kyler Murray. He made the Cardinals put in Colt McCoy to kneel the ball. That way his stats didn't go down. He literally asked the coach, he was like, hey, Colt can do it. I don't want to hurt my stats. They're just like, okay.
Colt's not doing anything. He'll understand.
Yep.
So, Noah, how do you feel that Stafford is knocked from the undefeated ranks?
I mean, expected, but it still hurts a little bit.
Yeah.
But, they still look pretty good.
Stafford's still going to win MVP this season, just saying.
Yeah.
Gotta give
still going to get his first ring, so.
Yeah. Gotta give your division rival a pity win every once in a while.
Exactly. He's being charitable. He was like, I remember what it used to be like to lose all those divisional games. I want to get that feeling back.
Yeah. No place like home.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Steelers suck. They lost 27-17 to the Packers. Ben Roethlisberger probably needs to retire.
He needs to retire 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Steelers for and not even on one play, just all night not covering Randall Cobb.
Yeah, Cobb had 5 receptions for 69 yards. Nice. Yeah, I feel like an idiot for thinking the Steelers were going to be like a wild card team. Because going into this year, I was like hoping that the Steelers were going to suck. Because I'm a Browns fan and I want to see them duke it out for the division and not have to worry about the Steelers. But I am so happy to see them suck because god damn it, I hate them.
Why do they keep this is like sorry to derail you, but they keep throwing it a screen pass on 4th and long. multiple times now, like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. It's been the same exact play, and it's never worked.
Yeah. Well, it's not even on 4th and long. They just keep doing that with Najee Harris, and he never gets any yards with it because the Steelers' O-line sucks shit.
Yeah.
Like, we can't tell. Like, Najee Harris is not having a good year, and I don't know if it's his fault or if the Steelers. I think the Steelers' offense just sucks.
Yeah, I think this is finally the season that I don't know if Mike Tomlin can finally drag another shitty Steelers team to 8-8, or 8-9, or 9-8. God.
Yeah, he's got to win 9 games to keep that streak alive, and that's asking a lot. They're 1-3.
Yeah, and they have a tough schedule, honestly.
Yeah, they. I mean, when you lose to the Bengals, like to start out your season, I don't know how the fuck they beat the Bills. Honestly, the Bills beat themselves in that game.
Yeah,
because the Steelers did not look good on offense in that game, and their defense is starting to falter too now. So.
Yeah, because the thing is, the Bills in that game, if I remember right, they outgained the Steelers by like 150 yards.
Yeah,
like it wasn't, and they just because the Steelers got that touchdown on the block punt, and Josh Allen threw a really untimely interception. And
that game was a ton of, failed 4th down conversions or first downs that were wiped away from penalties or really obvious or really easy drops by receivers. It was like the Steelers just had to do the bare minimum and not embarrass themselves and watch the Bills just kind of let it slip away.
Yeah, like I said, it was the first game and they they fell flat. Because, I mean, since then, the Bills have come out and dominated and set the tone in every game they've played.
Yep.
And, yeah, I just think it was the first game, and they just kind of, Yeah,
so Steelers bad and stupid and bad and dumb and stupid and bad.
Yeah.
And, Ravens rolled into Mile High and smoked the Broncos 23-7. And unfortunately, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt and he got a concussion. And in came the man, the myth, the legend, Horse Cocklock. And he didn't do very well either.
Crying and pissing myself to watch Teddy Bridgewater have another insanely dirty hit knock him the fuck out.
Yeah.
Hate it here.
Yeah. So my roommate and his girlfriend were in Denver this week, and our buddy that they were visiting there was like, we could go to a Broncos game, and Adam was like, fuck no, I'm not going to a football game while I'm here. And Adam sent me a video of just like a line of Broncos fans walking down the street to go to the stadium, and I was like, just give them a couple hours. So I don't think the Broncos are a terrible team, but they were not a powerhouse because they played literally the 3 worst teams in the league the first 3 games. Yeah, and then they faced an actual team this week, and guess what happened?
I'm gonna be honest. I think the Broncos are in the same situation as the Panthers, where I think they're still pretty good. Yeah. They just didn't really play anybody, so they made them look better than they are. But
they're like a 9-win team.
They held the Ravens to less than 40 points, which the Ravens have the offense to accrue against anybody. So, I think the only downside is there wasn't a lot of offense, but like we said, Teddy getting hurt didn't really help that.
Yeah. I will say, at the very end of the game, the Ravens, instead of kneeling, they ran a run play towards the left side because they were like 4 yards short of 100 yards, and they had a streak going of, I believe it was 43 consecutive 100-yard rushing games, which tied an NFL record. And Vic Fangio whined about it. And to that I say, cry about it.
Yeah. I know, since I work in sports broadcasts, I speak to a lot of sports players, and I've brought up multiple times, coaches always preach to not give a shit about stats. They preach that to their players, but you can't just not care about stats like that.
Yeah.
That shit's cool.
If you're John Harbaugh, you have a chance to literally make NFL history. And if your team has 44 consecutive 100-yard rushing games, that means your coach is doing a pretty damn good job. So Harbaugh and all those players involved are like, yeah, let's get it. And if you only need 4 yards, fuck it, do it.
It would have been really funny if they ran that play and it got stuffed.
Yeah, and they lost like 5 yards.
Oh my god, like that Falcons running back in the 70s who was so close to
Dave Hampton.
Yeah.
Got it, and then they stopped the game and gave him the game ball, and then the next play he lost 5 yards.
Yeah. Oh, Falcons. Anyway, I would like to say, Matt, a little extra editing work. I could tell by looking at Teddy Bridgewater's player profile picture that these concussions must be getting to him because his hairline is going backwards.
Dude, I did notice about Teddy Bridgewater. He changed his gloves mid-game.
Oh,
did anybody else notice that? He
I
started
did
the game
not
with
see
white
that.
gloves, and then he had orange gloves at some point in the game too.
Clearly cheating
Yeah.
in
He
that
just couldn't decide
23
what
to
color he
71.
wanted to wear that day. He was just
Yeah.
like,
If you look up footage from the game, though, at one point he has white gloves, and at another point he has orange gloves. So
He's colorblind. He didn't know they were white. He didn't know they weren't orange.
Why does he wear a glove on his throwing hand? It's so weird. Have you ever tried to throw a football with receiver gloves on?
I can't throw a football with my bare hands. So I mean,
Well, you need to go throw a football. You need to go catch a football and touch some grass while you're at it.
what the fuck?
But no, like part of the throwing motion is that as your arm comes up, the ball goes upwards, and then your fingers kind of pull the laces down, which gives it the spiral. But when you have receiver gloves on, it sticks to your palm, so it's like hard to not spike the ball straight into the ground. It's fucking hard to throw with gloves on. I don't get how he does it. So, anyway, that's my...
Just better.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the Broncos are frauds. Anyway. Next game.
Wow.
Look, this is a long show so far.
Yeah.
Not finally, but probably the most important game, definitely of the week, maybe of the season. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers roll back into the place he called home for 20 years. It was Brady versus Belichick on Sunday night, and I don't really need to emphasize why this is an important game. But
Yeah, because NBC did enough for you.
yeah, Mac Jones, goddamn dude, he looked really good in this game. At one point, he had 19 consecutive completions. He outplayed Tom Brady. I'm gonna say it.
Tom Brady did not have a good game.
Yeah, he did not throw a touchdown. Unfortunately, as I was saying coming into this game, Tom Brady needed 69 yards to become the all-time leading passer in NFL history. Nice. And I was like, he's going to throw it to Gronk. The 69th yard will be Gronk. It just makes too much sense. And then Gronkowski got hurt, much to my chagrin, so we did not get to see that. Think of the memes. Think of the memes we missed out on. But he threw...
Him and Gronk just start fucking on the field.
I might have to cut that one out. He threw 200 more yards than he needed for the record, but he did not throw a touchdown. The Patriots kept Brady out of the end zone. But Mac Jones took the fight to him. They drove downfield, and then with about a minute left on 4th and 3, again, Mac Jones had just completed 19 consecutive passes. Belichick decides to try to kick a 56-yard field goal in a monsoon to take a 20-19 lead. And unfortunately, it hits the upright. It does not go through. It is no good, and Brady gets the win in New England on his return there. I don't know. It's a weird decision, but also it's kind of Belichick with some stones, basically saying that I'm not afraid of Tom Brady by kicking the field goal with a minute left. Because all Brady would have to do, a minute and 2 timeouts, you just got to get into field goal range. And that's Belichick saying, I'm not afraid of Brady. I think my defense can stop him. And unfortunately, they didn't get that opportunity because they missed the field goal. But, yeah, it was an interesting game.
Yeah.
All right, good talk, guys.
I didn't watch it because
neither did
I had Dewey commentating it for me, so
Oh my god. Yeah, it had a lot of ramifications because it's, the most dominant NFL player maybe of all time going back into the home stadium of the team that didn't want him anymore.
The
As
Bills
defending
haven't played
champ.
the Bears yet.
so
Shut the fuck up.
to be nice to Dewey, I'll also admit I didn't watch because I kind of figured the Bucks would just curb stomp the Patriots because the Bucks are really good and the Patriots have looked terrible. So I had no because I don't care about either of the teams. I frankly hate both of them. One is really good, one is really bad. I figured it would be really boring, so I just didn't watch.
Yeah,
I got into that game from like the NFL shows that morning. That's all they talked about. I was like, I don't care. Like, this has no significance.
The other thing was the amount of it being shoved in our face during the rain delay of the NASCAR race. Oh my god, I felt like the game was happening live and we were missing it to watch people stomp around the NASCAR garage. Like,
Can we get Rick Allen to commentate Sunday Night Football?
Dude, yeah, Nick Folk hits the upright with that kick, and he's like, and the kick is, problems!
And problems for the ball! It goes into the upright! Sideways! No good!
Vince Welch coming, he's like, the ball is still imperfect! Sheldon Creed!
Playoff implication.
And it's Tom Brady!
Yeah. Props to McCorkle Jones for not being intimidated by Brady. Like, Belichick dialed up a hell of a game plan, and they held the Buccaneers offense in check. And I mean, in a monsoon of rain, like, they were in position to beat the Bucs. So.
It was also really weird NFL history was made that I just remembered from this game. I was the highest average age of both coaches. Because, like, Bruce Arians is, like, 67.
Oh, yeah.
Belichick is, like, 64 or something. It's, like, it was the highest combined age. Or some shit like that. I don't know. Two old guys coached football teams. I don't know.
Geezers.
Come on, England.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, I was sad because I was rooting for the Patriots in that game because I'm sick of Tom Brady. Anyway. Wrapping up the week, Monday Night Football, Chargers, Raiders. There was a lightning delay for a game with a fucking roof, which was weird. And in typical Raiders fashion, they did nothing in the first half and then came out in the second half and looked money as hell. But unfortunately, when you spot one of the best teams in the league a 21-point head start, you're not going to win a lot of football games that way. And the Raiders' undefeated season came to an end. Carr still looked all right. Josh Jacobs was not good because I think he's still injured. But Justin Herbert is pretty good, and I think we're all wrong about him.
Yeah, Justin Herbert, really good. He's my new favorite quarterback in the league. Also, let me try that again. Also, Austin Eckler, also pretty good.
Yeah. And it's funny because he only became the starter because Melvin Ingram held out at the beginning of 2019, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, oh, look, Eckler's better.
It was Melvin Gordon, but yeah.
Oh, I always get him confused, whatever.
Yeah, because
there shouldn't be two players on the Chargers named Melvin at the same time.
But I only know that because that's how he ended up at fucking Denver.
Yeah.
Which just the vibe is not there. That player should not be on that team, but it is what it is.
I can't get over the fact that a few years ago, some of the best running backs in the league were named Melvin, Alvin, Todd, and Ezekiel.
Yeah.
All goddamn nerd names. So I got on a tangent there. I love how Brandon Staley, the Chargers head coach, talks about Justin Herbert. Have you heard any of his press conferences?
I do not watch press conferences.
Okay, so after not the Chargers game, after the Cowboys game, he said that even though they lost, he said that Justin Herbert was the best player on the field in that game. And then after they beat the Chiefs last week, when they asked him about his offense, he was like, "Yeah, well, we got a gangster quarterback," and and just like kept rolling with it.
One of my favorite things about the Chargers, which by the way, the Chargers have been like my second team for a long time. I don't know why, but I've just always really liked them. I've just kept it hidden because they've sucked. But anyway, the Chargers' social media accounts are fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And so it turns out, for their TikTok account is especially hilarious. I know their Twitter is too, but their TikTok account is hilarious because their social media manager or whatever, at every day of preseason camp, they would try to film Justin walking out onto the field. And apparently he has like a problem with anxiety, and he's a really, really shy person. He doesn't like a lot of media attention. And he's like normally one of the quiet guys in the locker room and stuff like that.
I've heard he's like a really quiet leader. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he started noticing that he'd get filmed every time he walks out of the locker room and onto the practice field. And so he started coming up with like decoys and like he would have another player put on his jersey and then he'd walk out like a little bit after him or something, or he'd like walk out of the alternate entrance, and like every time he gets caught, and it's this hilarious TikTok compilation for like a minute and a half of like 15 straight days where he tries something different to not get filmed walking onto the field. And it's fucking hilarious because he's always just like staring at the camera from really far away, seeing if he can notice him.
Oh my God.
And that's why he's turned into my favorite quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
I mean that, and he's pretty good at football.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and I think that is Chargers Raiders, and that is week 4 wrapped up. It was a weird week of football.
Very weird. Football's weird.
It is. Honestly, cancel football.
Nope.
Well, yeah, that's true. Then what else would we talk about on this show?
Exactly.
So let's get into pick'ems though. Starting with our Thursday night game, Rams Seahawks.
I picked the Rams.
Yeah, give me the Rams. The Seahawks are gonna get clowned on. Yeah. Oh man, dude. Game of the century. Jets at Falcons.
Jets.
I swear to God.
I want the Falcons.
Yeah, give me the Falcons. I can't pick.
Hey, Noah. If you're so confident, you should lock the Jets.
Okay.
Stop!
Let's go.
Stop encouraging him.
Well, I don't run the show, so I don't give a shit.
God damn it. That is our first ever Jets lock.
Good. That should have came before. It should have came last week, actually, but you know.
I absolutely hate it here. Lions, Vikings.
Vikings.
Lions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is like the most coin toss game that has ever existed.
I'm only choosing the Vikings because Vikings are at home. That's really what decides it for me.
You know, fuck it. Give me the Lions.
Yes, sir.
All right.
They've got to win a game eventually. They're not that bad. I mean, their defense is really bad. And they're kind of competent on offense.
Exactly. Alexander Madison, Kirk Cousins, they're going to be all over the field. The Lions will be lost.
Although the 08 Lions had like a semi-competent offense and a garbage defense, so shit. Saints, Washington. This is like sneaky good game because it's going to be chaotic as hell.
And by the way, really weird. This game is on CBS, and I don't like it.
That is weird, yeah. It's an all NFC matchup on CBS. That's weird. It's an odd numbered week, so I'm going to take the Saints.
I was also thinking Saints.
Yeah. I think the Saints are going to finish 9-8, and they're going to alternate wins every week.
I would not be surprised. That sounds something like Jameis Winston would do.
Yeah. This is literally the two most chaotic teams in the league right now, facing off.
Up there with the Titans.
Yeah. So I love the chaotic aura of Washington, though. It's so good. Oh, baby. Are you ready for two offensive juggernauts? It's Patriots at Texans.
Is this one a question?
I'm going to lock the Patriots.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Davis Mills is not going to beat a Bill Belichick defense.
Yeah, true. It is a rookie quarterback versus... It's going to be like a 6-0 game.
I expect like 19-6.
Actually, yeah, that's a... yeah. You know, I'm going to write that down as a note. Noah or Austin said Pats Texans 19-6. No, not Austin versus Titans. Pats 19, Texans 6. I hope that's correct. So, Noah, you have the Patriots as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Dolphins, Buccaneers. I'm gonna go ahead and lock the Buccaneers on this one.
You really just broke the trend, and you locked a good team.
Yeah, because I'm here to win.
Sorry, I locked.
Hey, me too. I lost my first lock, and I'm undefeated since. That's 3 in a row, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
I've also not very good on locks. I'm 0 for 3 on locks this season, so I'm gonna take the low-hanging fruit while I can. Here's my locks. I locked the Browns week 1 against the Chiefs, which was more of a faith-based one, if I'm being honest. Week 2, I locked the Saints against the Panthers. This was after they had just dismantled the Packers 38-3. And then week 3, I, for some reason, locked the Steelers against the Bengals. Actually, no, it's the Steelers versus the Bengals. And the Steelers own them. So I'm taking the low-hanging fruit, and I'm taking the Buccaneers against the Dolphins.
Yeah, Buccaneers for that.
Yeah. Austin, same for you?
Yeah, I said Bucks.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Maybe if you would listen to me once in a while, Matthew.
Yeah, the Browns are gonna win.
What?
I said maybe if you would listen to me once in a while, Matthew.
Huh?
Matt, did you?
This is better than when Noah was like, or not Noah, Steven said, why did the Virgin get left hanging? Anyway, so Packers Bengals.
Bengals.
Ooh, you know,
I'm gonna choose the Packers.
I'm really tempted to choose with you, Noah, but I know better than to put any faith in the Bengals. I've been burned by them for 10 years.
This is their year, man.
Yeah, baby. Wild card elimination.
Yeah. Classic.
I gotta stick with my gut though and say Packers.
Wow, you suck.
Yeah,
You hate fun.
I do. Yep, that's me. Broncos Steelers.
Broncos.
Yeah, give me.
It's not going to be a close game, I don't think. Well, actually, with Teddy hurt, this could be a really close game.
But it's also a concussion, so he might be back.
Steelers.
Oh my god. I'm gonna take the Broncos. I think the Broncos defense is better than the Steelers offensive line, and Big Ben cannot fucking move. So
this is complete tangent. I would love to see a quarterback that does not move his feet after the initial drop back. He just stands there. I want to see that.
Josh Allen's done that a couple times on plays where he because they do that little kind of bounce or whatever, and he just stopped because he was so secure in the pocket.
Oh, I want to see that every play. You're so confident in your own line, then you just fucking stand there.
Yeah. It's basically how I play Madden. Eagles, Panthers. This
Panthers
could be a trap game.
Could be, but the Eagles are bad. So
yeah, true.
Panther.
Yeah, give me the Panthers as well. Titans, Jaguars. I hate that I have to really think about this.
Yeah.
If Urban Meyer wasn't a horn dog, I would probably pick the Jaguars here. But part of me thinks the team kind of wants to mutiny him. And they don't want to celebrate a win against a division rival with him. But they do want to win. The Titans also own the Jaguars. Yeah, give me the Titans.
Yeah.
I say Titans just because the Jags don't have a defensive line, and
Yeah.
Derrick Henry exists.
Yeah, like literally twice a year, Derrick Henry just victimizes the Jaguars defense.
Mm-hmm.
This is... I have no idea how to call this game. Browns Chargers. Probably one of the games of the year.
I am saying Chargers just because I think their defense is better than the Browns' defense. Because what I think is that the Chargers' pass defense will cause more of a problem for Baker Mayfield than the Browns' defense will for Austin Eckler and Justin Herbert combined.
Yeah, the Chargers offense looks really good right now, but you have the Browns defensive line is maybe the best defensive line in football right now. But I think depending on how Baker looked last week, I don't know if he's still fighting that shoulder injury, and if my gut's telling me I got to go with the Chargers on this one. So I think they are going to win.
I just think to the Chargers games earlier this year and how their pass defense has looked, this seems like another pass defense that Baker is going to struggle figuring out.
Well, the interesting thing about that though is the Chargers pass defense, or just defense in general, is they don't give a shit about giving up yards. It's they prevent points. The problem with that is they have a ridiculous 1-2 running back tandem.
Yeah.
God, this is fucking tough. I'm almost talking myself into a Browns win now, but I'm gonna stick with the Chargers.
Because just the way I think of it is all the quarterbacks that they've faced this year have struggled a lot.
Yeah. No, what were you gonna say? No.
I was gonna say multiple times even. My heart's saying Browns. My head is saying Chargers. But I don't care what my head says because you guys picked the Chargers, so I got to be contrarian and pick the Browns.
All right. I like the pick. I hope they win.
Our Cam pick of the night. Sorry.
God damn it. Bears, Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah, give me the Raiders. The Raiders pass rush is ridiculous right now.
I'm confident that Justin Fields might throw for 100 yards, maybe.
Yeah. Watch out, you guys. 49ers, Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah, Cardinals.
The Cardinals play the 49ers really close every year, and the 49ers are not very good this year. So.
And Garoppolo's going to be out, so yeah. It's going to be rookie Trey Lance running around in the backfield.
Oh, baby. This is a tough one. It's a division matchup. It's Giants-Cowboys. Cowboys.
Yeah.
I want to pick the Giants.
God damn it.
This is the NFC East game that happens every year, and the Giants win a game against the Cowboys every fucking year. It's going to be this one, especially because the Cowboys are the favorites.
He's got a point.
It happens every year like fucking clockwork. This division destroys itself. The Cowboys are off to a hot start. Daniel Jones is going to throw for 400 yards again. It's going to be easy. I don't know about blowout, but Giants are going to win.
L. Oh my god, I forgot how good this game's going to be. Bills, Chiefs.
Bills by 40.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, I also think Bills.
I think the Bills are the most complete team in football right now.
Yeah.
I think they have
Bills
are...
Yeah. I mean, what team has a better backup quarterback?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. Chad Henney's pretty good.
Yeah, the best quarterback in the league is whoever is the backup on the Eagles currently. So, at all times. So, that is tough. Okay, second best backup quarterback in the league.
Still good to Chad Henne.
Yeah. All right, top three. Anyway, Colts Ravens.
Ravens.
I'm gonna take a bold pick here and say the Ravens.
I'm gonna say Lamar Jackson is gonna be good in this game.
It's quite literally the most agile quarterback versus a quarterback with 2 sprained ankles.
So Matt, if
Yes.
you can, I'd like to add another pick in the spirit of football.
Oh God.
So as you may or may not know, but the University of Massachusetts beat Connecticut this week. These are 2 teams who have not won a single game since 2019.
Is this the cum game?
Yes, it is. So, conveniently, Connecticut's last win was against Massachusetts when they won 56-35 in 2019. But I'd like to just have us take a stab at that one, because that'll be the best game of all time.
Dude, I don't watch college football. I don't know shit.
I've never watched any of these teams. So
Do I want the "k" or do I want the
I'm taking UConn all the way, baby. They're gonna ride into UMass and beat that Mass ass.
I'm gonna take UConn too. That was not funny.
All right. Well, I guess I'm taking Mass to be contrarian. So
Yeah.
all right, and that's Oofsides Pick'ems. So
This has
No,
been a
and-
2-hour-long podcast.
yeah, this is our longest podcast I think we've ever done.
And it's funny because it's you have the 2 most monotone motherfuckers that ever be on the podcast. And I mean, Matt's just Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to my main man Craig one time.
Yeah, Craig.
Yeah,
Craig. So
Wow, we really have been at this for 2 hours. Fuck.
we did talk for like 20 minutes before the show started. Yeah.
True, and we also had the long Urban Meyer segment.
Yeah.
Possibly longer than his tenure at Jacksonville.
Oh my God.
Possibly longer than he lasted with that girl.
Fun
Even
fact.
Isaac's not gonna be happy with that one.
Fun fact. Tate Fogelman has more wins this year than Urban Meyer.
True.
Yeah.
So
Daniel Hemrick has the same amount of wins as the Jags in the last like 50 weeks.
why do you hurt me like this? So, any closing thoughts, you guys?
Bed.
Oh my God. Can you fucking one person say something whenever I throw it to the rest of the podcast for once in my life?
Get fucked, idiot.
Everybody constantly talks over each other and we do a show and everybody's very quiet and polite.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
How else?
This is a professional podcast, man.
Absolutely.
I'm genuinely trying to have a broadcasting career. So,
All right. Well, on that note, this has been Oofsides. Y'all, I'm not going to plug your guys' social media because your Twitter handles have been on screen the entire time. Thanks for watching. And we will see you. Well, we probably won't see Urban Meyer next time, but we will see you next time.
yeah, go Giants.